Oh, he startled me. I wasn't really expecting anyone to come by here. But you know what? I'm glad you did. We got a lot to talk about. On this installment of Psych Rad, I'm going to talk a bit about our fuzzy little friends. And no, I'm not talking about Baby Yodas. That's that other rad channel. C-Rad. As a caring pet owner, there have been many times when I've wondered what an animal is thinking or feeling, but for obvious reasons, it is impossible to get a clear and specific interpretation of what that might be. And yet there are at least a few emotions that animals seem to experience and express that we can recognize through their behaviors. One emotion in particular, fear, seems to be quite evident in animals. Just look at the way a dog will cower and whimper at the sound of thunder, or the way a cat puffs up like a furry blowfish when you turn on the vacuum cleaner. Of course, there are some who would say that such behaviors are purely instinctual and that animals don't have feelings. In his book, When Elephants Weep, author Jeffrey Mason gives several examples of how animals of all varieties express emotion, from baby elephants with night terrors to black bears that flee from human aggression. According to Mason, fear in particular is an obvious necessity for the survival of any species because it acts as a cue to defend against or flee from potential threats and hazards. And fear seems to be inherent in all species regardless of their intellectual level. Scientists have actually been able to locate the area of the brain that is responsible for fear in lab rats and cats. By sending electrical impulses to the animal's amygdala, scientists have been able to trigger behaviors associated with fear. They've also been able to remove the behaviors associated with fear in rats by removing the amygdala. But wait a second, did I say cats? Rats are one thing, man, but don't fuck with cats. I love cats, and I'm pretty sure my cats love me. Or do they? Fear may be evident in all animals, but love may be a bit more difficult to detect. When one or more of my 3 cats starts hovering around me, purring and rubbing their furry little bodies on me, I have to wonder, does this animal love me, or is it just hungry? My ego wants to believe that the cat is truly fond of me, and it is not just about the food. But the more cynical part of my mind sees it simply as a need to feed. In a stand-up comedy bit by the late George Carlin, he posits that dogs have more personality than cats because dogs have eyebrows. He then goes on to describe how his own dog uses its eyebrows to elicit sympathy and communicate that it wants one more treat.
Oh, please. Please, Daddy. One more treat.
Not only is that bit hilarious, but it is also an excellent example of anthropomorphism, in that Carlin is personifying or cognitively projecting human qualities onto his non-human dog. It is common knowledge that dogs do not have the ability to convey to humans their exact thoughts in any verbal capacity. Yet according to Carlin, his dog can communicate to him non-verbally through facial expressions that he is still hungry and would like another treat. Thus, he is anthropomorphizing his dog. But dogs do love treats.
There you go.
So his assumption regarding his dog's desire does not necessarily constitute an anthropomorphic error, like someone believing that the neighbor's dog is telling them to do bad things, or someone who thinks that their iguana is sad because their favorite football team lost again. Simply put, he empathetically recognizes his dog's feelings and desires through its soulful eyebrows. Aww. Unfortunately, there are many among the scientific community who would argue that animals do not share any of the same emotions with humans, and some feel they have no emotions at all.
Change! This is your 9 o'clock alarm call! Now that's what I call a dead parrot.
One would hope that the scientific community would have concern for the emotional well-being of animals used in research, and that they wouldn't view them in a purely ethological or scientific manner, without compassion or empathy. But it seems many animal researchers and scientists are more concerned that anthropomorphism and projecting their own emotions onto the animals being studied could contaminate data, and subsequently devalidate the credibility of the research. They even go as far as to say that such things are dangerous to the field. Scientists may frown upon anthropomorphism, but based on my personal experience with house pets and other animals, I embrace the concept. I've been around animals my whole life. My backyard as a child was a virtual barnyard, complete with dogs, cats, chickens, rabbits, and geese. And we even had a pony for a short while, until the neighbors complained about the smell.
Oh, I know. I hated those kids. In fact, I hate anyone that ever had a pony when they were growing up.
And it was through growing up with all of those animals that I learned to identify in them some of our shared attributes such as happiness, anger, fear, love, and so on. And although there may not be solid empirical evidence that animals feel like we do, most of us believe they do. Thus, they should be treated accordingly. Just recently, my cat son Willie took ill with a life-threatening health problem, and he had to spend a couple nights at the animal hospital. It broke my heart to see him suffer and to witness the fear he felt at the hospital despite the kindness of the caring staff there. And my wife and I couldn't wait to bring him home where we could love and care for him. And I realized that the love we feel for him is the most important thing, and that it's not even necessary for him to reciprocate that love. Whether or not our pets love us or even like us, they fill our hearts with love and joy, and that, my friend, is their greatest gift to us.
So kiss, 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 kiss your cat. Kiss, kiss, kiss him on the fat. So kiss, 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 kiss your cat. Kiss, kiss, kiss him on the fat. So kiss, 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 kiss your cat. Kiss, kiss, kiss him on the fat. So kiss, 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 kiss your cat. Kiss, kiss, kiss him on the fat.